Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys are having a great night tonight. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA, I make videos for NFL. I also have a Discord that I'll link below where we just have a great time in here, bro. It's the best community I've ever seen in my entire life. We do giveaways in here, we do just a bunch of shit, man. Chop it up, talk a bunch of shit. Um it's fucking awesome. So if you're interested in that, where I have premium content in there, here I can give you guys like a little sneak preview. Like, I don't do these matchup columns. Someone in the Discord, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but he does them, and I post them here. Um, really appreciate you for doing this every day. You know who you are, but I post all these player pools for cash and GPPs, stuff like that. I make private videos every day for NFL slates, stuff like that. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll have a link to that below. But if you ever need help with anything, I really suggest coming over to this subreddit. Completely free. You can ask me questions. I make updates throughout the day with the players that I like, who's out, who that affects, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, this is a great place to be as well. Completely free. Um, Extreme value in my opinion. As you can see, I respond to everyone with your questions and stuff like that. So if that is something you're interested in, I think it's a great place to be. So check that out. And then if you ever want to ask me questions privately, you can get a hold of me on Reddit Messenger, or you can get a hold of me on Twitter at Tori Langley 1992. Also, guys, if you follow me on Twitter, I joke a lot. I'm not actually tilted. I'm just joking. But yeah, let's get into this slate. Firstly, we'll go through my lineup tonight. As you guys know, I show you my lineups every night to show you how I'm doing. Unfortunately, not going to get in the cash the past 2 days. Was a good week before this, but past 2 days been rough. I went with Tyler Harrow, Victor Oladipo, Zach LaVine, Draymond Green, Daniel Gafford, Jalen Brunson, Duncan Robinson, Jordan Poole. Unfortunately, every game that I played blew out. Low and Zach LaVine on pace to absolutely break the slate. Loses minutes. Low and Draymond Green, massive blowout. Doesn't touch the floor in the fourth. Daniel Gafford just doesn't close. They close with Taj Gibson. Jalen Brunson on pace to absolutely break the slate. Doesn't play the fourth quarter. Jordan Poole on pace to absolutely break the slate. Doesn't play the fourth quarter. Tyler Harrow lost minutes due to the blowout. Or no, he played decent. I don't think he lost minutes actually. I don't know. But Oladipo, I think he got subbed with a little bit left to go. But everyone just in massive blowouts, man. Like Zach LaVine, I think he got pulled with like a few minutes left. Just really sucks, man. Brunson only playing 30 minutes. Draymond only playing like 26. Just unfortunate. The core that I had today was Tyler Harrow, Victor Oladipo, Daniel Gafford, and Jordan Poole. Just complete whiff for me. I would like to think if the blowouts didn't happen that they would have got there, but who knows, man. Just complete whiff by me. That'll happen from time to time, but usually we are kind of on the money. Let's go over this NBA slate though. So, got a big slate for tomorrow, so you guys know the drill. Gonna try and get through this pretty quickly here. Let's do it. Milwaukee at Cleveland, so it's a tough matchup here. Excuse me, guys. Tough matchup here for Milwaukee. Cleveland, they play slow. They play good defense. They're last in pace, first in defensive rating. So, I personally think Giannis is overpriced with how he's been performing and the tough matchup. He's not playing huge minutes either. Like he's only playing around 33 to 35 minutes a game. I think he's overpriced personally, given the matchup. If it was a different matchup, I would have some interest. But I think, other, excuse me, other spend ups look better, like a lot better. So in play for GPPs, he'll be extremely low owned. If you want to go there, be my guest. Drew, I think, is appropriately priced at 8.4K given the matchup. No interest. Bobby Portis minutes went down. I don't know why he only played 22 minutes a game. They clearly need him out there, in my opinion. I think they might need him out there more in this matchup, so he could be an interesting GPP play, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to be getting to anyone on Milwaukee tomorrow. Middleton doubtful doesn't change anything for me, so really nothing on the Milwaukee side for me. Tough matchup here for Cleveland too. Milwaukee, they're really good defensively. They do play quite fast, I believe. Um, or not. Where are they? Hello. Sorry, guys. My eyes are playing tricks on me. I could have swore they played fast. Guess they're 14th in pace. They're really good defensively. Second defensive rating. Just not much, man. Like, Donovan Mitchell is a tough matchup. 9.1K. I think that's just overpriced for the matchup. Darius Garland, I do prefer to Donovan Mitchell point per dollar, but no standouts here. I think he's appropriately priced. The bigs in this matchup, no thank you. Karis LeVert, he'll probably play around 30 minutes, but with his usage playing alongside the guys that he's playing with, like, Mitchell and Garland in and stuff like that, it's just non-existent. So really hard for me to get to LeVert. I will say Kevin Love did play more last game. I'm always interested in a guy like Kevin Love for GPPs just because he has this type of ceiling. He can go for like 35 fantasy points in like 15 minutes. So I do have some interest in Kevin Love, but outside of that, man, there's just nothing in this game. Okoro had a good game the other day, but you couldn't pay me to pay Okoro. I'd rather go die in a hole. So not much, man. Not much. I do want to pull up this Detroit rotation because I do want to see if they played more tonight. Okay, they don't have it up, so let's check that. First, we'll go over defensive rating and pace. Sixers are third in defensive rating. I love to see that. 26th in pace. They gotta push up the pace though. They really, really do. Okay, look at that. We saw 33 minutes for Jaden Ivey. We saw 30 minutes for Jalen Durham. We saw Bojan play. So they're kind of playing their main guys that they should be over 30 minutes. Please do this again, Casey. Please. So, listen, it's not the best spot. Like Bojan, GPP only. Killian Hayes not playing enough. He's overpriced. But these cheaper guys, I definitely do have some interest in. I want to play. I want to see how much Sadiq Bey played because I was really interested in him today. Okay, only played 20 minutes. Kind of hard to get there for me personally. So these younger guys like Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren, like it's not the best matchup. The Sixers play slow, but if we're gonna get 30 plus minutes from Jalen Duren at 4.8K with no Cade Cunningham, I think he's a solid value play. I really do. He has flashed that ceiling. I think if he's like he went for 43 tonight, went for 30 fantasy points or 30 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. Gonna have the ball in his hand a decent amount. The only thing setting me back from locking him in my lineup tomorrow is the matchup against Philly. But other than that, man, if we're gonna get similar minutes, I think he looks like a good value. Jalen Duren, you guys know I've been extremely, extremely high on. He's gone low owned every slate. If this wasn't a matchup against Embiid, I would like him quite a bit, but I do have to step back a little because Jalen Duren's a guy that's not really. I, he's not gonna leave the paint, right? And when you have that type of matchup going up against Embiid, Embiid struggles against bigs that can play on the perimeter. I don't think Jalen Duren is really a guy that can play on the perimeter, so he's going to be clogged in the paint up against Embiid, which is just asking for foul trouble. So I'm torn here. I like his ceiling, but just be careful there. There is a high, high risk of foul trouble, and then it's really hard to get to anyone else. Good match here for the Sixers. Detroit, um, 17th in pace, and they are bad defensively. 29th in defensive rating. So, I mean, if you think this game stays close, I really like Joel Embiid's ceiling. I think there are better spend-ups that look better point per dollar, but this is the type of matchup where you could see that like 65, 70 fantasy point game. He could absolutely crush on the glass here. He's playing huge minutes too. So he's going to be really low owned. So I do like Joel Embiid for GPPs. I think James Harden at this price tag is now getting to the point where I think it's appropriately priced. And then I can't get to anyone else on the Sixers. It's just the top two guys for me. So Feel like I'm moving in snail's pace here, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Or I'm going to try to. Boston 15th in pace. They've been bad defensively this year. Well, not bad, but worse than last year. 8th in defensive rating. So, I think Halliburton's in play for GPP. He's basically a lock for a double-double. Has been quiet of late, but he does have a ceiling. I think he's a fine GPP play. I do believe Robert Williams is back. He is, so not too into Miles Turner at $7,000 up against Robert Williams. Healed Matherin, no thank you, and then getting to anyone else is just really tough for me. So Boston going up in a really good matchup against Indiana. Indiana's 6th in pace. They're middle of the road defensively, I want to say. 20th in defensive rating. So let me take a look. Okay, Robert Williams still going to be on the limit. I think Tatum Brown are interesting GPP plays. Now that they're quite close in price, I do prefer Tatum to Brown. So I like their ceiling here. I think they're fine tournament plays. Marcus Smart is questionable. If he's in, there's not much else here. But if he is out, I think Brogdon, Derek White are going to be the beneficiaries of that. I would probably expect over 25 minutes for both. I think both would be pretty good plays at their respective prices. Can't get to Williams. Going to be on the limit. If we hear otherwise, and we get like 25 minutes from him, he would be a great value. But I doubt he is going to play over 20 minutes tomorrow. So, yeah. This is a game that I just do not want to target. Two teams that play slow, two teams that play phenomenal defense, 25th in pace, 11th in defensive rating. So I play Siakam here. I play Siakam here, play Siakam here, bust in phenomenal matchups. I fade in a terrible matchup. 110 fantasy points, shoots 110% from the field, goes for 175 rebounds and 30,000 assists. But all in all, tough matchup. Knicks have been playing really good defense of late, so no interest in Siakam. I think Fred VanVleet's fine. He's been absolutely on fire of late, except for last game. Gonna play huge minutes. He'll have the ball in his hands a lot. I'm okay with it, but I just don't like this game environment. OG's back. I do believe. Gary Trent is questionable. If Trent's out, you can consider a guy like Chris Boucher. He actually played more minutes with OG in last game, which I don't really understand. Or OG was in that game, which I don't understand. I'd feel more confident with his minutes if Trent's out, but he's a guy that has flashed upside when given minutes. Really good point per minute guy, so would have some interest in him if Trent's out. Wancho has been god fucking awful, just absolutely terrible. Really can't get to him. Malachi Flynn, minutes all over the place, but thought I'd mention him. Just a dart for GPPs, only if Gary Trent Jr. is out. And then I don't think I'm going to be getting to anyone else on Toronto. So, Knicks at Toronto. The Knicks, like I said, they're slow. They play good defense, 16th in pace. They're better defensively than this, whatever it says, 7th in defensive. They've been like one of the best defensive teams in the league of late. Yeah, not the best matchup here. If you want to go to these Knicks, though, they're playing such a tight rotation. I wouldn't hate you for it. So Randall Brunson, RJ, all in play for me. Tough spot for Mitchell Robinson, but we'll probably get close to 30 minutes from him. Always in foul trouble, though. Just a GPP only play. Quentin Grimes, priced appropriately. Always have interest in a guy in Emmanuel Quickly. Had a really good game tonight. This is the ceiling he can have when he's on one. So some interesting Quickly, but not much on the Knicks. We'll get to some better games in a second here, guys. The first games are just really, really disgusting. Good matchup here for Chicago. Atlanta's 7th in pace. And hello? Jesus. 18th in defensive rating. So, same thing I'll always say. All three of the Bulls look solid. No lean on who I like more. Today it was Levine, given the matchup. I think given the matchup here, it might be DeRozan, but no lean. I think they're all solid plays given the price points. Today, Patrick Williams and Caruso were in play for value, but on a slate like this, I don't really think we need to go there. So just the top three guys on Chicago for me. Good matchup here for Atlanta. Chicago's 10th in pace and 17th in defensive rating. So Murray's going to be back. He was back last game. We have Collins back. He started at the 5. So Trey Murray in play for GPPs. Trae Young had the big game last game. Wouldn't be surprised if DeJounte Murray has the big game this game. No real standouts here. Bog loses usage with those two guys back, so no real interest at that price tag. John Collins start the 5, but only played 20 minutes. If we're only going to get 20 minutes from him, really hard to go there. Not going to get to anyone else. If we get a Kongwu starting at the 5, though, I would definitely think he is a solid value. I think he's a fine play regardless. I think he'll probably play, 20 to 25 minutes regardless. But if we get a Kongwu starting, actually, I think, scratch that. I actually think he's a better play coming off the bench. I like his usage more off with that second unit. So I think a Kongwu's a solid play. I don't think anyone's going to play him tomorrow, especially if he's coming off the bench. And I think playing with that second unit more definitely helps him. So I do like a Kongwu for value. I think he's a pretty sneaky value play tomorrow if he comes off the bench. Where is it, Brooklyn? So definitely some blow risk here. A lot of blow risk here. But let's go over it. Let's find Brooklyn, 21st in pace. And are they better defensively? There's no way. They've been 15th in defensive rating. So Steph, we already know is going to be out for a month. Clay, we already have ruled out. Andrew Wiggins, we already have ruled out. I wouldn't be surprised if Draymond Green's out, but we saw what happened. I believe, is it 2021 or 2020? Where he just had the whole team to himself for a year. But so I mean, yeah, if this game stays close, Pool's ceiling here is absolutely insane. For this game to stay close, he's going to have a huge game. So I do like Jordan Poole quite a bit. I don't play games for blowouts, but this does have severe blowout risk. But love Poole here at the top. Draymond with now everyone out, I do have some interest. I think that could potentially hurt him. I know that with Steph out, it definitely hurts him. Now with Clay out, I think that could definitely potentially hurt his assist upside. So don't go jamming in Dre just because more people are out. I actually think that hurts him, but he's fine. Looney, no thank you. Now with Clay out, we're probably going to see Moody's going to start most likely. Do we get Kuminga into the starting lineup? Or do we get like a guy like Ty Jerome in the starting lineup? Whoever does start, though, I think is a solid play. I think Ty Jerome's in play regardless. He's going to have to soak up some minutes. Clay plays a ton of minutes. Those minutes are going to have to go somewhere. So I think Moody's a solid value. I think Ty Jerome's interesting as a pivot off Moody. And then if Kuminga starts, I do like him a lot at $5,000. So keep an eye on that starting lineup. Keep an eye on Draymond, too. I think there's a possibility that he is going to rest. Warriors first in pace. That's surprising. They are 21st in defensive rating. So if you think this game stays close, I think this is a good spot for pretty much everyone. But once again, the later games look more appealing spend up wise. Katie, Kyrie, I think they're in play for GPPs. Ben not playing enough for me to go there. Claxton not playing enough for me to go there. Simple as that. Just Katie and Kyrie at the top for me. So last set of games here, guys. The more appealing games on the slate. I mean, can we stop with this questionable bullshit? Now it was Miami Heat. Now we got Portland, but phenomenal spot here. Oklahoma City Thunder, 4th in pace, 12th in defensive rating. We have Dame probable. We have Jeremy Grant probable. We have Yusuf Nurkic questionable. We have Josh Hart probable, and we have Drew Eubanks probable. So if everyone's in a good matchup, I think Dame is fine. I think LeBron and some of the like you're gonna hear me say this a lot. The spend ups in these last games just look so much better. So I like Dame's ceiling in this matchup, but it's really hard for me to get there with these other spend ups in the game. Simons, Grant, no thank you. Hart, no thank you. Nurkic, if Nurkic is out, Drew Eubanks becomes one of the best value plays in the slate. I think he would look really good. And then with Grant back, really hard for me to get to a guy like Justice Winslow. Still played 22 minutes, but he's kind of a guy that needs the minutes to get there when everyone's healthy. So really just Dame and then possibly Drew Eubanks for me for Portland. I promise, guys, we're going to get to some good spots here. I promise. Portland, 27th in pace. 23rd in defensive rating. I mean, look, Giddey's out. I think SGA looks like one of the best spread-ups on the slate. Don't care about the matchup with Portland. He's going to shoot the ball damn near 30 times. He still went for 52 fantasy points. Had like 5 fantasy points in the first. I love SGA tomorrow. Love his ceiling here. Lou Dort at 5.5K. He's just there for me. No thank you with SGA in. Jalen Williams, going to have a solid role in this team. I think we get low to mid 30s minutes from him. I told you guys this was an outlier. This is the game that we're usually going to get from. Not 30 fantasy points, but a game like he'll get like a few rebounds, a few assists, and like 10 points, 12 points. So I think Jalen is definitely a solid value. I think Poku is a fine value, but it seems like they only want to play him around 20 minutes. But he's still fine as like a last man in. Kendrick Williams, no confidence in this guy's minutes, but if you think he's still going to play 30 minutes, I think he's an okay value play, but once again, no confidence there in his minutes. Isaiah Joe still had a decent role off the bench. I'm fine with it as a dart. He's a good point per minute guy. Trey Mann back to the G League, so can't really go there. Eugene Amorie, can they play this guy more? This guy's a phenomenal point per minute guy. I would just love to play him in DFS. Just play Eugene, man. Play Eugene. I really want to put Eugene in my lineups because just how good of a point per minute guy that is. That guy is. All right, Minnesota 3rd in pace, 13th in defensive rating. So if you feel comfortable and you have the money for Luka in a good pace up spot, like his ceiling here, think he's a solid sped up. We do have Dorian, we have Kleba, and possibly Dwight Powell out. If Dwight Powell is out, you're going to see Christian Wood start. You're going to see him play pretty big minutes here. Would like him more if Gobert's out. I think that would be a much better matchup for him. So even at this price tag, if Dwight Powell's out, I think he's a pretty good play. Dinwiddie, no. Kemba Walker came back down to earth. Don't know why he's 6.3K. No, thank you. Tim Hardaway Jr. priced appropriately, and then not going to get to anyone else. So let's go to Minnesota. Now we're starting to get to some things that look appealing outside of OKC that we just went over. But tough spot here for Minnesota. Dallas, they play slow, 29th in pace. They do play good defense too. 16th in defensive rating. So Cat's out. We have Gobert questionable. We have Kyle Anderson questionable, and we have Prince questionable. So if everyone's in, and Dwight Powell's out and Rudy Gobert gets a spot against Christian Wood, he is just absolutely going to feast. So I do like Gobert for GPPs if Dwight Powell's out and we get more Christian Wood. I think Anthony Edwards is interesting, has had 2 ceiling games back to back. I think he might go a little bit over owned because of it, but perfectly fine with Tim. I think D'Lo at 7.5K is perfectly fine as well. No standouts. Rudy Gobert definitely my favorite. Nas at that price with Gobert possibly back. No, thank you. And then can't be getting to anyone else. But if all these questionable guys are out, then Ant looks good. D'Lo looks good. Nas Reed still looks phenomenal at 5.9K. He should be an 8K player with no Gobert. That's how good of a point per minute guy. He's still 2K cheap. He looks absolutely phenomenal if Gobert is out. Then you can consider guys like Jalen Noel, Austin Rivers. You couldn't pay me to play him, but he'll play huge minutes if those guys are out. I'm actually fine with it, man. If you want to go there with those guys out, be my guest. He's played well the past 2 games. If those guys are out, I think you can definitely consider it. But potentially a lot to like with Minnesota tomorrow. And now we get to a game that I do like quite a bit here. More on the Orlando side. Good matchup here. Houston, they play fast. Have they dropped in pace? There's no way. There's no way they dropped that much, like, overnight. There's just no way. Hello? Is it you? 18th in pace. Wow, they have 28th in defensive rating. So I actually have more interest in this Orlando team than I usually do, just because I love targeting players against Houston. So Paulo Banchero, who I usually have no interest in, I'm definitely interested in tomorrow. Now, hasn't been the best of late, but he's a guy that can stuff the stat sheet, basically do everything. I think we get mid-30s minutes from him. One of the best spots against Houston. They play... just love the game environment here for the Orlando Magic. So I kind of like Banchero here. I think Mo Wagner, if he doesn't get into foul trouble, should probably play around 30 minutes. I think he's a solid play. I think Markelle Fultz at 5.7K has flashed a ceiling of late, is an interesting GPP play. But keep an eye on ownership. If he's going to be extremely popular, I think it makes for an interesting fade. But point guards have been absolutely destroying Houston, so I do like Fultz tomorrow. Bull, minutes all over the place. Cole, minutes all over the place. It's just the main three guys there for me on Houston. Orlando. Guys, I don't know how to sing. 22nd pace. 24th in defensive rating. So, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr. have caused me immense amounts of pain this season. So, they're nothing more than contrarian plays for me personally. Second, I like this price tag quite a bit. Has been involved in a lot of blowouts and foul trouble. I think normally we get close to 30 minutes from him. So I think the Goon, Alfred Sengun, is my favorite play on this team. I think he's a little bit too cheap. I think Jabari Smith is a solid play at 5.2K. His minutes have gone way, way up of late. Double upside. A guy that can stuff the stat sheet. Decent offensively, very good rebounder. Pretty much can do it all. So I think Jabari Smith looks good. Not going to be going to anyone else. As you guys know, Eric Gordon's always playable. He'll play around 30 minutes and very reliant on scoring. So, last two games here, guys. The best two games on the slate. Lakers at Sacramento. Absolutely love this game to target for GPPs. I will be absolutely loading up on this game. Kings 5th in pace. Where are they defensively? 19th in defensive rating. I absolutely love LeBron James tomorrow. He looks absolutely phenomenal with no Anthony Davis. If Westbrook's if Westbrook's out, even better. He looks like the best spend up on the slate. I don't even think it's close. I don't know why he's below 10K. He looks freaking amazing. Westbrook, if he plays, I do like as well. Kind of concerned with those minutes last game. I don't understand it, but I think he would go back to his normal bench rotation. I think he's solid. And then these value plays, man, especially if Westbrook's out. Even if Westbrook's in, Thomas Bryant at 5.3K, definitely a solid play still. Lost minutes due to the blowout, but phenomenal point per minute guy. He looks good. Even if Westbrook's in, Lonnie, Schroeder, both look like a really good value plays. These guys are going to have to do second and third offensively. They're too cheap. They both look good. And then I'm probably not going to get to anyone else, but especially if Austin Reeves is out, he's doubtful. So yeah, man, a lot to like. And then if Westbrook's out, absolutely smash LeBron. Thomas Bryant looks great. Lonnie Walker looks like a smash. Dennis Schroeder looks like a smash, but absolutely love all of these guys. And then you can consider guys like Troy Brown Jr. and Patrick Beverley. So oh boy, I love the Lakers tomorrow, and I'm absolutely ready to be in pain. Lakers 2nd pace and 14th in defensive rating, and I love these Kings, man. If Sabonis plays, I love this matchup for him. He's playing 40 plus minutes a game. I absolutely love him if he plays. I think Fox is too cheap at 8.7K. He looks like a pretty solid play. Guards have been absolutely killing the Lakers, so love both the top two guys here. Not much outside of that, but if Sabonis is out, I don't even know who they're going to start. The 5 could be Holmes, could be Keta, could be Metu. I have no idea. Are these guys even on the roster? Yeah, Metu's been playing in blowouts. Okay, he's active or looks to be active. Hasn't played. My guess it would be. I know last year they would start Alex Len, but if we get a min price for Sean Holmes, whoever starts at the 5 is going to be a really good value play here on Sacramento. And then if Sabonis is out, you get a boost for guys like Herter, Keegan Murray. Those two guys I think would like, and if Barnes is out, Herter, Keegan Murray would both be solid value plays. So yeah, man, that game just looks. Oh God! Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it, boys. Don't make me say it. Can this stop doing this? Stop it. All right, we're not doing it. Tough matchup here for Charlotte, but I think LaMelo Ball, 8.9K, still looks good. Played him here, got into massive foul trouble, but his usage is just absolutely insane. Great facilitator. Does have triple-double upside, good rebounder. I still think LaMelo is a pretty good play. Terry Rozier is doubtful, as you can consider a guy like Kelly Oubre has a low floor but a high ceiling if he's hitting his shots. Gordon Hayward, I think, is appropriately priced. Mason Plumlee, I think, is appropriately priced. Same with PJ. If you think Mason gets into foul trouble, you can consider a guy like Nick Richards. Really good point per minute guy, but just a GPP only play. So we have Paul George questionable on my best ball team. We have Reggie questionable. We have Zubac questionable. And we have Powell questionable. I have really hard to break this down right now, especially with what the Clippers been doing with their rotation. Just like when Zubac was out, Moses Brown started here, just didn't play in the second half. You had who was it? You had Covington playing garbage time. He barely played until that fourth quarter. Just really hard to break down right now. If I will say this, if Paul and Reggie are out, John Wall and Kawhi Leonard both look like good plays to me personally. Everything outside of that, I'll make updates. We'll have to just wait and see. So I hope this helped, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit.